Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to our Meet the Maker chat. I'm Bettina Tyrrell, the Natives Co resident beauty editor, and today I'm so excited because I'm joined by Brian O, the CEO and founder of one of my favorite beauty brands, VENN. Hello, Brian.
Hi, Bettina. How are you?
Good. So I'm in Sydney, Brian. Where are you phoning in from?
I'm phoning in from Seoul, South Korea. I'm currently in Asia at the moment.
Amazing. So, for anyone not familiar with Brian's brand, let me introduce you. VENN is all about beauty for modern lifestyles. The brand uses advanced Korean innovation, research, and science to create clean and highly effective streamlined skincare solutions. Forget what you thought you knew about multi-step Korean skincare beauty routines. VENN is the complete opposite, but more on this later. Brian, I have so many questions for you, so I'm just going to start straight from the very beginning. I'd love
Mhm.
to know where the idea for VENN came from, because before you became the CEO of a beauty brand, you had a very different career.
Yes. So I actually used to be a corporate lawyer in New York City, and after doing bank finance law, I went to Silicon Valley to work with startup companies and venture capitals. And I got to work with companies in life sciences, and it was really through that work that I met my co-founder, who is now VENN's chief scientific officer. He used to be a nuclear physicist and turned to skincare, and he's been researching and developing skincare formulations, ingredients, and technologies, which now kind of form the core science of the brand for now almost 25 years. And when I met with him, I shared this vision of creating a clean but really science-backed skincare brand that focuses on streamlining skincare without compromising on the efficacy. Because especially when I was practicing law and just really living like a very busy life, I just couldn't find the time to really understand and go through very complicated skincare routines. And really I noticed that not only myself but many people really needed a streamlined and yet very effective skincare products and routines. So that's kind of how the VENN was created.
You kind of talked about then that although you didn't have the time to do a full skincare routine, you still kind of understood the importance of looking after your skin. I'd love to know if there was someone in your life that taught you about skincare. How did you know that, you should be looking after your skin from a young age?
Yeah, so given my Korean background, just culturally, skincare is a big part of the Korean culture, and I actually got my first full skincare set from my mom when I entered middle school. I think it was like when I was 10 years old. So back then, I got my first full set, including a cleanser. Then I think the set included like two types of different serums, toner, moisturizer, night cream. So it was like 6 or 7 different products. And then, and so just like culturally and just how, I grew up, kind of maintaining my skin and using different skincare products was kind of culturally, it's just like part of my life. But then, as I began to kind of go more in depth into looking at different skincare products, just like it felt a bit overwhelmed and noticed, that was quite complicated in terms of, how many different products were being recommended. I remember, when especially when I lived in New York, I would often, go to department stores and kind of ask for the recommendations in terms of skincare products from, different reps. And, they probably didn't remember me, but, they would always recommend, different set of products. and so, that was always, very confusing. But I just like felt that, I just didn't have the time to go through kind of multi skincare step routines just personally. And so, I wanted to find a product or a brand that provided products that offered very streamlined skincare routines, yet still very effective. And I really couldn't find a brand that focused on that.
Right. So I'd love to know where the name VENN comes from, because it's very aesthetically pleasing to see the
Mm-hmm.
capital VENN, but it's also quite unique. So where's that name from?
Yeah, sure. So Venn actually comes from Venn diagram. I don't know if you remember from geometry in middle school, but Venn diagram is different subsets intersecting with one another. And our brand DNA is really the intersection among science, nature, and lifestyle. Because Venn is all about bringing the best and the greatest innovations and technologies in terms of skincare from South Korea and combining with clean ingredients to offer products and routines that are fit for modern lifestyle. And so that's kind of our brand DNA. And when we kind of drew the diagram of this of our three different kind of brand DNAs intersecting with one another, that reminded us of the Venn diagram. So that's where the name Venn comes from.
Fantastic. It's like the three kind of the rings, isn't it? Like when they all
Yes.
usually is how, yeah.
Yep.
And so you kind of touched on clean ingredients there, and Venn formulas are described as being clean.
Mm-hmm.
But clean can mean something different depending on the brand, right? So I'd love to know what clean means to Venn.
Yep. So in terms of vetting our ingredients, I mean, different clean beauty retailers also have, tend to have different requirements or standards. How we vet our ingredients is we first look at the EWG's Deep Skin database, and we basically use ingredients that are rated green, 1 or 2. So EWG basically looks at kind of all the scientific literature and information on each of the ingredients. Then they rate the ingredients, and the ingredients that are rated green or 1 or 2 are considered very safe for the skin. So that's how we initially vet our ingredients. And then we also then look at the EU standards. And so we don't use ingredients that are obviously prohibited in the EU. And then on top of that, there are kind of key clean beauty retailers and their standards that we also look at, and we kind of vet our ingredients. One kind of also question that we get is, natural versus using synthetic ingredients. Of course, there are brands that focus on using just natural ingredients, but our standard is that natural doesn't always necessarily mean that it's safe for the skin. I mean, there are natural ingredients that are considered allergens, or that are considered comedogenic, meaning blocking the pores and so on. So to the extent there are safer, better synthetic alternatives, then we're also open to kind of using those synthetic ingredients as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, I guess the analogy that I always put to people when we kind of have this kind of conversation about natural or synthetic, a chili is natural, but you don't want to put that all over your face. So.
Exactly. Yep.
Now, we've been talking a lot about streamlining skincare routines, and I think one of the best ways to explain how your brand does that is by talking about your all-in-one concentrates. Mm-hmm. So I've got one here. This is the all-in-one vitamin B activated concentrate. You've also got the all-in-one age reversing concentrate. So each of these concentrates are designed to replace your toner, your essence, your serum, and your moisturizer, which seems incredible to me. And so tell me, how does that happen? How does that work?
Yeah, so I guess there are kind of 2 parts that I want to explain with respect to your question. Kind of before I get into how the all-in-one concentrates, actually work in terms of the formulations. Another common question, with respect to that we get is, if you're getting all these multiple benefits, is it kind of less of many different benefits? And the answer to that is no. For us, creating a formulation that provides multiple benefits and thereby being able to streamline skincare, it was very important for us to show that streamlining doesn't necessarily mean you ending up compromising on the efficacy. And that's why, as a brand, we invested heavily in terms of third-party clinical studies to really show and prove on the efficacy point. So both all-in-one concentrates, in terms of all-in-one, and when we say replaces all these different categories of products, they basically, the all-in-one concentrates provide very powerfully the core skin benefits that people look for, from deep hydration, and over time reducing the transepidermal water loss of the skin, reducing the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, significantly improving the firmness of the skin, the elasticity of the skin, helping brighten the skin's appearance, like clarify the skin, improve radiance, and even out the skin tone thereby, and also even the skin texture and make the skin texture more smooth and soft. So these are kind of all the core skin benefits that people look for. And in order to kind of obtain those skin benefits, they would otherwise have to use many different types of products, including even different types of serums. So then how did VENN achieve this? As I worked with my co-founder and with our chemists at now our R&D center, one thing that I've learned and realized is how similar skincare products are to cars. So then you might be like, what, how does the car analogy, come in here? So a car's performance is really driven by not just the feel, but also by the engine. Say if you look like a F1 racing car, they obviously use a great fuel, but it's not like if you put their fuel in a minivan, the minivan suddenly becomes like an F1 racing car. It's like the engine that's able to effectively process the fuel and deliver speed and performance. And it's really similar with skincare products as well. Ingredients are of course very important, and we definitely use clean, clinically proven actives in our formulations. And we also have our own patented form of ingredients that we use, but our science really focuses on the engine. So it's really the engine of our formulations that are able to effectively process these various actives and ensure that these actives deliver their respective benefits to the skin, so that a single formulation ends up providing these multiple benefits and thereby essentially help streamline skincare routines. Then, I guess your follow-up question might be, well, then what is this engine? So it basically comes down to three core technologies that really make VENN science unique. Our first technology, our patented technology, is solubilization technology, where there are many powerful natural actives that are really great for skin, and yet they have very low solubility, meaning it's very hard to dissolve them in high concentrations in water. And some of the actives don't even dissolve in oil. That's where our technology comes in, where we're able to dissolve such natural actives in high concentrations in water and use in our formulations. And then the second technology is our delivery technology, where basically we're able to build formulation particles with multiple alternating layers of hydrophilic and hydrophobic actives that essentially mimic the skin structure, so that the actives deliver deeply into the skin without compromising or blocking the penetrations of each other. And then the third technology is our hydration technology, where all these different technologies are interrelated, but by being essentially able to deliver moisturizing actives deeply into the skin, we're able to generate hydration from within the skin. So we've received patents on these technologies in South Korea, and also recently in the US, we received patent with respect to our solubilization technology as it relates to one of kind of our key ingredients in the vitamin B all-in-one concentrate called Mastic gum that we're able to water solubilize. And it's really because of this core science forming the engine where we're able to build formulations like the all-in-one concentrate that provides, without compromising on the efficacy, all these multiple benefits to the skin.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about them individually, the two different concentrates, because I'm sure everyone would have just heard that amazing description and thought, okay, well, which one do I get?
Uh-huh.
You've got the age reversing, and then you've got the vitamin B. So how would someone choose between the two?
Yep. So they both provide the same skin benefits, but they use different set of key ingredients, and that really kind of originated from our research in terms of ingredients. So age reversing, the key ingredients in age reversing all-in-one concentrate are peptides, antioxidants, and our patented form of ginsenoside compound K. So not many of you probably have heard of this ingredient, ginsenoside compound K. It's actually the key anti-aging active in Panax ginseng. And the reason why it might be your first time hearing about compound K is because compound K is considered basically insoluble both in water and in oil, and it only has partial solubility in like alcohol. But basically, if you dissolve in alcohol, like you wouldn't be able to use such active in high concentrations in skincare formulations. So with our patented technology, we're able to water dissolve compound K in high concentrations and use in our formulations, including age reversing. Then your follow-up question will be, okay, well, I get that you could use compound K, but why should I care? Why is it great? How is it great for the skin? Well, ginsenoside compound K is one of the most powerful antioxidants that we've encountered in our research. It also is kind of like the all-in-one antioxidant in terms of the skin benefits that it deliver. But just to give you like a very easy perspective, in terms of compound K, we compared, since compound K is also an antioxidant, we compared compound K against L-ascorbic acid, vitamin C, through this third-party in vitro study called DPPH assay, which is like a standard test that you do to measure an ingredient's antioxidant power. And for vitamin C, because vitamin C is such like a well-known popular antioxidant, it's often used as like the control antioxidant, meaning kind of the antioxidant they use to compare against another antioxidant. And basically at 700 parts per million, which is kind of the concentration in chemistry of compound K, it showed as powerful antioxidant power as L-ascorbic acid. Now that's where our solubilization technology becomes relevant. We're able to dissolve compound K at concentration much higher than the 750 parts per million, at which compound K shows like the same antioxidant power as L-ascorbic acid. And therefore, in age reversing only one concentrate, we use around 1,000 parts per million of compound K. And then in our new compound K booster, we use 2,700 parts per million of compound K. So compound K, therefore, when used in a formulation, basically provides very similar and more comprehensive benefits when compared to L-ascorbic acid, from really helping to clarify the skin and really even out the skin tone, and also provides various anti-aging benefits, such as addressing the appearance of wrinkles, helping with firmness and elasticity of the skin, and really address kind of skin damage due to photoaging. So compound K is really just like miracle ingredient that we're able to use because of our patented solubilization technology, and we also were granted in Korea on the water solubilized form of compound K. We were granted the patent on it as well. So we're very excited about it, and we've been very excited, especially with our the new age response compound K heronic booster, which features compound K as the key ingredient.
Right. So, and is the compound K only in the age reversing, or is it also in the vitamin B?
Yeah, so compound K is only in age reversing. And so that's the key ingredients in age reversing. Now in vitamin B activated only one concentrate. As I told you, we use different set of key ingredients that from our research have shown like synergy to provide the same comprehensive skin benefits. So the key ingredients in a vitamin B only one concentrate are 6 different B vitamins, including niacinamide, which has become one of like very trending ingredients this year, especially due to mask acne, because niacinamide has this very strong anti-inflammatory property, as well as helps make the skin barrier a lot stronger. And we combine those 6 different B vitamins with 11 different amino acids because, and that's like very special and unique kind of to our research, in that based on our research, when B vitamins are combined with the 11 amino acids that we use, including the 8 essential amino acids, B vitamins efficacy really amplifies. So we wanted to introduce that through a new all-in-one concentrate formulation, which is our B vitamin all-in-one concentrate. But then kind of like the special ingredient is our water dissolved form of mastic gum. And we were recently granted US patent on our technology to water dissolve mastic gum. So mastic gum is basically a tree sap that basically comes from the trees that only grow on the Greek island of Chios. And mastic is kind of considered, it has like a nickname, the tear of goddess, because like when it comes from the tree, it like looks like a teardrop, but basically Mastic is like very, very rich with antioxidant compounds and also anti-inflammatory compounds as well. But again, like compound K, Mastic also doesn't dissolve in water. So with our patented technology, we were able to water dissolve Mastic and use high concentrations in our skincare formulation, including in our vitamin B activated all-in-one concentrate. So although the two concentrates provide the same comprehensive skin benefits, they use two different set of ingredients, and because of the difference in the key ingredients, age reversing has like a lighter weight cream texture, whereas vitamin B activated has like a relatively richer cream texture. And the richness actually naturally comes from the different set of key ingredients that we use. So you basically have to choose between the two, and based on our observation, people would choose either based on their ingredient preference. So for people who are looking for like antioxidants and especially attracted to compound K, they go for age reversing. People who really want those B vitamins, and amino acids, they go for the B vitamin all-in-one concentrate. Also, based on the texture preference. So if you want something relatively lighter cream texture, then age reversing is recommended. If you want something, or if you're used to using moisturizer that is relatively richer in terms of texture, then we recommend the vitamin B activated all-in-one concentrate.
Okay, amazing. So I'm also currently using the VENN Concentrated Revitalizing Lifting Cream, lifting mask, which I have here. How do you recommend introducing this mask into your daily or weekly routine?
Yep. So although we call it a mask, and therefore a frequent question that we get is, do I have to wipe this off? The answer is no. It's a leave-on cream type. The reason why we call it a mask is because it is meant to be used as the very last step of your skincare routine. And that actually has to do with the unique delivery system that we use in the lifting mask when compared to our all-in-one concentrates. So basically, in terms of use, you could use it on a daily basis. We do have some clients who use it as kind of their daily cream as well. But we basically recommend that you use it as a last step because it uses, unlike the all-in-one concentrates that use our patented multi-layered delivery vehicle system, where the formulation particles have multiple shells, meaning the actives would deliver more deeply into the skin. On purpose for lifting mask, we use a binary layer delivery system where basically the formulation particles have only two shells and of actives. Meaning the actives are formulated so that they basically work closer to the skin surface. And that is basically to provide that instant benefits that people look for when using like a facial mask. But at the same time, to basically help seal everything in from the prior steps and prevent the actives in our lifting mask from kind of blocking or clashing with whatever ingredients that you've applied in your prior skincare routine. Prior steps of your skincare routine. So in terms of the efficacy, it's totally okay to use on a daily basis or however often you do use. But in terms of efficacy, it really hydrates the skin, restores radiance to the skin, but it does provide that instant and lasting lifting effect. And the key ingredients are antioxidant peptides, our patented form of ginsenoside compound K, and this plant extract called Acamella oleracea extract, which is considered kind of like the natural Botox alternative because it does offer that lifting benefit to the skin.
Oh, I like the sound of that. Now, what would a complete VENN skincare routine look like if you were going to do from start to finish? How would you kind of map that out with the products?
Yeah, well, so I mean, for me, I basically after using our all-in-one cleanser, I just apply the all-in-one concentrate, and then sometimes to the extent I want something extra, I would maybe add on our new compound K booster and kind of finish up with our lifting mask. But as we kind of like introduce new products, one common question was, hey, like, I thought, you guys were all about streamlining, and if only one concentrate does everything, why do you need all these, why are you introducing, these additional products? So, only one concentrate does powerfully provide, comprehensive benefits, but it's really to the extent you need something extra that you could add in our, say like, multi-perfecting red oil serum, or, the compound K booster for that additional anti-aging or boosting benefits. And then of course, like the lifting mask is kind of like your facial mask that you kind of could use on a daily basis, or kind of at your preference on, on weekends, how basically how you would use, any kind of facial, masks in your skincare routine. But, say if you were to use kind of all of our products in a skincare routine, basically how you use and kind of the order you apply is very important. Um, After using our cleanser on a cleansed face, we recommend applying the only one concentrate first. To the extent you're using our age response compound K hyaluronic booster, then you could apply the booster first and then apply the only one concentrate. But it's very important that you don't put any oil-based layer on the skin before applying our only one concentrate. And that has to do with the delivery system, where the formulation particles, as I explained, kind of have multiple alternating shells of hydrophilic and hydrophobic actives. And the outermost shell is basically hydrophilic actives, meaning actives that are attracted and kind of dissolve into the water layer of the skin. So that's why we recommend applying the only one concentrate first before applying any oil-based layer. And then after applying that, you could add in the advanced multi-perfecting red oil serum, and then you could kind of finish up with our concentrated revitalizing lifting mask.
It's very technical, so it's a good thing that there are only just a few products. I get it wrong.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on developing new products then, and I'd love to know, when it comes to developing products, what are you inspired by? Is it an exciting new innovation that you guys have discovered, or is it an ingredient, or is it finding a solution to a skin concern that someone might have? Where do you start?
Yeah, so it's actually all of that that really becomes relevant as we kind of that kind of drive our research, and as we kind of develop and introduce new products within VENN. One area that we've been researching even before it became like a big trend this year has been skin microbiome, and basically researching specific combinations of probiotics and prebiotics that really help balance the skin microbiome, and thereby really restore the health of the skin. And how we started that research actually originated from our research into oral care. So in Korea, we actually last year introduced like VENN toothpaste and as well as like VENN mouth spray, and it was because we wanted to create new oral care products that, without using kind of like some of these chemicals that are often used in toothpaste to kill the oral bacteria, we wanted to explore like a healthier option that does that more effectively, and that's how we got into researching probiotics, prebiotics, and symbiotics. Because when we say balancing microbiome, what does that mean? That basically means well, so I guess like if you go like kind of if you take like a step back, microbiome basically refers to an ecosystem of living microorganisms such as like bacteria and viruses that live on our body, or I guess when you say skin microbiome, on our skin. And basically there are good bacteria and viruses, and there are also the bad ones, and by balancing the microbiome or the skin microbiome, it basically means making the beneficial bacteria more dominant, and kind of fighting against the bad bacteria. So and that's why oral microbiome also refers to the same, and that's why we researched probiotics and prebiotics. And then we beginning last year, we then took that to skincare, and basically we're basically applying the same combination of of our probiotics and prebiotics that we've researched and applied in our oral care products to skincare. And so last year we introduced our Symbiotic Polyamine shampoo and body wash, because we wanted to introduce cleansing products that do, beyond simple cleansing by using our symbiotics to help, balance the scalp microbiome and the skin microbiome. And the NPDs that we've got lined up for this year, including our new face mist that we're going to introduce in March, also uses symbiotics. 80% of the formulation are basically our probiotics and prebiotics. And then in May, we're introducing a new booster called Probiotics Zika Complex Biome Booster, which basically uses, again, our symbiotics to help really further boost and balance the skin microbiome. And then end of this year, closer to the end of this year, we'll be introducing our Symbiotics intensive body lotion as well. So, but it's really about bringing the latest kind of research that we've been doing and innovations that are really relevant for the skin into products. And then I guess also there's so many innovations and technologies that necessarily don't always get translated into skincare products, largely due to the cost of applying those technologies. And sometimes we get a question, some of your products are kind of more on the higher priced end. Why is that the case? It's not because we simply we're like, it's not that we're like a prestige brand and therefore we just, it's really, is because, based on our cost and really, by applying the latest innovations and technologies that don't necessarily get translated into products at cost, we're all about, bringing the best of the innovations. And so it's really mainly kind of those two kind of our mission that kind of drive our research and drive the new products that do get introduced through our brand.
I think that's a really important point that you made, because it's not that you're using pre-existing technologies that already existed. You guys are, the brand is creating brand new technologies and innovations, and that research is time, and it's also a big cost. So, to get the final product, it's going to be a lot of, an expense, and sometimes that kind of has to filter through to the product. So I think it's a really important thing to kind of, talk about that, because it's not a marketing, it's not, part of the marketing, it's part of the branding. It's just, you guys are doing such an incredible job of creating these amazing technologies.
Yep.
And I'd love to know, is there a product, now this could be like, choosing a favorite child, but is there a product that you're most proud of that you've created?
So it's really like the all-in-one concentrates, because, they do best define the brand and really, carry the VENN's, mission in terms of streamlining skincare without compromising on the efficacy. And all-in-one concentrates are kind of, they're the products that I always use obviously on a daily basis. They also are the formulations that carry all three patented technologies of the brand, that form the core science of the brand. So I guess in that respect, I'm most proud of our all-in-one concentrates. And then of course, ginsenoside compound K as an ingredient is very special to us, and not just because we have this technology, and not just because we were granted patent on the water dissolved form of it, but really because it is like such an amazing ingredient, and that's also the reason why we created the age response compound K Haronic booster. So I guess in that respect, also the booster that we very recently introduced, I guess I'm very proud of. But I guess each of our products, even starting with our cleanser, is introducing something very unique and new that really didn't exist before. Even our cleanser, we created a new cleanser type called quasi-semi-emulsion, which basically means rather than using surfactants that are traditionally and typically always used to create like non-foaming types, we rather didn't use surfactants because their particle sizes are much larger than the average size of facial pores. Instead, we used, moisturizing ingredients or humectants, which are very effective in terms of cleansing, but at the same time, instantly hydrate the skin, and they have smaller, 5 to 10 times smaller particle sizes than average facial pores. So even with our cleanser and in every single product that we introduced, it's really bringing something new and like introducing a new innovation in skincare. So so in that respect, it's like hard for me to just pick out like a single product and say this is like my favorite. I guess. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, Brian, thank you so much for joining us today for this chat. I've learned so much more about the brand, and I'm sure that everyone listening will just be wanting to rush out and get their hands on some VENN products. So thank you so much for taking the time today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.